Hey guys, so I'm going to give you a super quick tutorial to teach you a few new tricks in Photoshop that you can apply to your future type posters. So we're going to look at how to warp some text as well as add a few layer styles effects like this bevel and emboss that you see over here. So in Photoshop, I'm going to click File, New. I'm going to have a 300 and let's put in pixels for the demo, 2000 by 2000, so it'll be a perfect square. 300 resolution, pixels per inch, click create, and you're gonna have a perfect box over here. At the bottom right, click this half black and white circle over here, and look for solid color. This lets us add a colored background. So we'll just pick any color that we want, and click OK. And if you ever want to change your color, you can double click this and you can go and readjust your color and click OK when you're happy with it. I'm going to use the type tool and we're going to use Cooper Black and we'll get our infamous lorem ipsum. The whole entire text is highlighted. I'm going to click Command C on my keyboard, go to the very right, click Return on my keyboard, Command V to paste. We'll do this a couple times just to give us some text to work with for this demonstration. Command A highlights all of it, and I'll make my text a little bit bigger to fill in some space. And this is the Move tool over here. The shortcut is the letter V, and we'll try to eyeball it the best we can in the center. And first off of the main part of this lesson I'll show you is layer styles. So with your lorem ipsum text selected, click the FX icon here to add a layer style. Now there's a lot of options here, and the first one that we see is called bevel and emboss. And let's click that on, and we'll see right away that the text already has some effects being added to that. So we can play around. Oops, let's click over here. Let's move this slider so we can see how our text changes. I'm not going to say there's one right or wrong way to use this, but this is going to be something that you're going to want to play around with and find what style catches your interest. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of settings you can play with here in the layer styles, including stroke, inner shadow, inner glow, drop shadows. You'll definitely want to play around with some of these and learn a little bit more about them, but they are really cool to add for text style. Okay, I'm going to click OK, assuming you are going to choose something that looks a lot better than my quick demonstration. And then we want to control click or right click this layer, and we're going to look for convert to smart object. Here it is. Okay, this has now been converted to a smart object. And with this layer still selected, I'm going to click Command T on my keyboard, and this lets me transform my text. Holding down Command, I can pick up these corner points and I can warp the text to get something pretty cool. You can play around with it. And I'm holding Command the entire time until I'm happy with how it looks. I can click Enter or Return on my keyboard. And if I hold Command T again, then I can also click this warp option over here. If I click that, I can also click and drag my text and it'll warp shapes. We can even click this little split icon over here, and we can add different points in our work area and specifically only warp those points that we added. Holding Command, I can click where I want my new point, and it looks like a mess right now, but this is entirely a demonstration to teach you guys about these tools, so no worries. Click Enter or Return. You can also click the check mark over here when you're happy with it. And the last thing I wanted to show you because we converted this layer to a smart object, if we wouldn't have done that, then we wouldn't be able to apply these warping effects to it. So the smart object is apparent by the bottom right corner. You see this little symbol. If we double click this, then it actually opens up in a separate Photoshop window. And here we can adjust our text. If we want to do any changes to it, then we can. Or let's say we want to redo our text. Then we can click the X on this window over here. Let's see here. Command W instead, and we'll click commit to the changes and click save. And back on our working document, you can see that the hello text has been updated from the lorem ipsum. Okay, so that's it for the tutorial. I just wanted to introduce to you how to warp text and also the layer styles. Now you can go ahead and make something of your own. Go ahead and add a different colored background and play around with those tools, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you